By His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When all these prachetas were ordered by their father to marry and beget children, they all entered the ocean and practiced austerities and penances for 10,000 years. Thus they worshipped the master of all austerity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sometimes great sages and ascetics enter the Himalaya mountains in order to find seclusion from the turmoil of the world. It appears, however, that all the prachetas, the sons of Prachina Barhi, entered the depths of the ocean to perform austerity in a secluded place. Since they performed austerities for the 10,000 years, this incident took place in the Satyug, when people used to live for 100,000 years. It is also significant that by their austerity, they worship the master of austerity, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one wants to perform austerities and penances in order to attain the supreme goal, one must attain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one achieves the favor of the Supreme Lord, it is to be understood that he has finished all kinds of austerities and penances and has attained efficiency in their execution. On the other hand, if one does not attain the perfect stage of devotional service, all austerities and penances actually have no meaning. For without the Supreme Lord, no one can attain the highest results derived from performing them. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Lord Shri Krishna is the master of all penances and sacrifices. Bhoktaram yagnatapisam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Thus, the desired result of performing austerities may be derived from Lord Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 37th chapter, verse 7, it is stated, Aho bhat swapachoto gariyan yaha jiva agre vartate namatobhyam te pustapas te juhuvu sashnur arya brahmana churnam grinanti ete. Even if a person is born in a family of Chandalas, the lowest birth one can get in human society, he is glorious. If he chants for Krishna the holy names of the Lord, for it is to be understood that by such chanting, a devotee definitely proves that he underwent all kinds of austerities in his previous life. By the grace of Lord Chaitanya, one who chants the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, attains the highest perfectional stage, which had previously been attained by people who entered the ocean and executed austerities for 10,000 years. In this age of Kali, if a person does not take advantage of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, which is offered as a great concession to the fallen human beings of this age, it is to be understood that he is very much bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord. Wow. Verse number 15. Yad yuktam pati drishtena girishena prasidata tadhyayanto japantascha pujayantascha samyataha. Yat that yuktam said, patihi on the way, drishtena while meeting, girishena by Lord Shiva, prasidata being very much satisfied, tat that, dhyayantaha meditating, japantaha cha chanting also, pujayantaha cha worshipping also, samyataha with great control. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When all the sons of Prachina Barhi left home to execute austerities, they met Lord Shiva, who out of great mercy instructed them about the absolute truth. All the sons of Prachina Barhi meditated upon the instructions, chanting and worshipping them with great care and attention. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. It is clear that to perform austerities or penances, or for that matter, any form of devotional service, one has to be guided by a spiritual master. Here it is clearly stated that The 10 sons of Maharaj Prachina Barahi were favored by the appearance of Lord Shiva, who out of great kindness gave them instructions regarding the execution of austerities. Lord Shiva actually became the spiritual master of the 10 sons, and in turn, his disciples took his words so seriously that simply by meditating upon his instructions, dhyayantaha, they became perfect. This is the secret of success. After being initiated and receiving the orders of the spiritual master, the disciple should unhesitatingly think about the instructions or orders of the spiritual master and should not allow himself to be disturbed by anything else. This is also the verdict of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who, while explaining the verse of Bhagavad Gita, beginning Vivasatmika Buddhir Ekehe Kurunandana, chapter 2, verse 41, points out that the order of the spiritual master is the life substance of the disciple. The disciple should not consider whether he is going back to Godhead. His first business should be to execute the order of his spiritual master. Thus, the disciple should always meditate on the order of the spiritual master, and that is perfectional meditation. Not only should he meditate upon that order, but he should find out the means by which he can perfectly worship and execute. Very nice. Mama Gyantimirandasya Gyananjan Shalakaya Chakshurudmilitan Yena Tasvai Shri Gurube Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahiyam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namastite Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priyai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. All right, so let me read the two verses, very important verses today. When all the Prachetas were ordered by their father to marry and beget children, they all entered the ocean and practiced austerities and penances for 10,000 years. Thus they worshipped the master of all austerity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When all the sons of Prachina Barahi left home to execute austerities, they met Lord Shiva, who out of great mercy instructed them about the absolute truth. All the sons of Prachina Barahi meditated upon the instructions, chanting and worshipping them with great care and attention. Okay, let's get oriented. What is the name of the chapter and what is happening?
Chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva.
Okay. And what is happening in this particular verse now? What is happening?
The 10 sons of Prachina Barahi went for doing tapasa into the ocean.
For 10,000.
On the way, they met Shiva.
All right, let's start from what we did yesterday. Yesterday, we read about the wedding of Prachina Barahi and Shatadruti. And then we also saw that, we also heard that her tinkling of her bell, ankle bell, was so melodious that all these great demigods were attracted just to the tinkling of the bell of her feet. And then Shatadruti was given to King Prachina Barahi by Brahma, so that for the reason of propagating or populating the different planets. And then from Shatadruti, he got 10 sons, and all of them were very, very religious, empowered, good behavior. And then those 10 sons were instructed by their father to beget children by marriage ceremony. So they didn't just go out and now that this is a continuation. This is the last series of verses in this particular section of this chapter. Because from tomorrow, from verse 16 to verse 32, we will start reading about Vidur's 2 questions to Maitre Rishi about Lord Shiva's meeting and what are his instructions. So we'll read about basically Rudra Gita, or the glories of Krishna sung by Lord Shiva. Okay, that will start tomorrow. So then, okay, they said, okay, they were given the instruction to go and get married. But before they got married, because they were completely aware that marriage is sanskar. What is the meaning of the word sanskar? What's the meaning of the word sanskar? And there are 11 sanskars. Some people say 21.
Rituals.
Purify.
No, it's not rituals. What's the meaning of the word sanskar?
To be purified. Purification.
Purification process.
To give instructions to be in this rule. Hare Krishna.
Customs and culture.
So sanskar is a method of purification. Okay, it's a method of purification. That's one meaning of the word. But then there's another meaning which also means impression to the mind. Okay, there are 2 meanings. So one is that, okay, we have this Vivaha sanskar, which says, okay, it's actually supposed to be a purificatory process for a conditioned soul. You know how sometimes, how do I explain this? Purification, let's say, some people go for this Ayurvedic treatments. It's very famous in America, for 5 days, 10 days, just to get detox, just to get purified. I don't know if, are you aware of it?
Yes,
I have
Yes,
so many
Mataji.
stories
It
in
is called
response to it.
Panchakarma.
Yes.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
That's one type. Panchakarma is one type of the purification process. Yeah, I have heard of that. So they go because they want to get like detoxed from this purification, all the toxins accumulated in the body, right? So, and then they come out. So they not only get like just a example to connect to the meaning of the word sanskar, but they don't only like get purified, but also there's an impression in the mind, because there are 2 meanings. So they are asked to marry and beget children. But the Prachetas instead first go and seek austerity for 10,000 years at the bottom of the ocean. So basically, ocean is, what is the relationship of the king of ocean to these boys? What's the relationship?
They are grandson of
Their mother.
Very nice. Very oriented, yeah. Very nice, yeah. So as they went to the grandfather's house, basically. Okay, and then in that particular, so basically, why under the ocean? Because to distract to avoid the distraction to the mind, which is difficult. But that's possible. This is all possible in Satya Yuga, because the lifespan was 100,000 years. And out of that, 10,000 years can be spent in the austerity. So 10,000 years for that time meant 10 years of our life. 10 years of our life in austerity is not a big deal. So for like that, for them, 10,000 years was not a big deal to perform austerity. So to perform austerity means that, okay, I'm going to perform the austerity because I am going to beget children, not from the mindset or intention of sanskarification, but to propagate the planet on the order of Lord Brahma as a service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the meaning, this is the reason why they are writing here. Thus they worshipped the master of all austerity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Okay, understood? So it's not that, okay, now you're of the age, which is going on in Kali Yuga. I don't know if it is going on right now. Is it like that? Now you're of an age, you're 25, 35 or 30. You should get married because you're at the age.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
does it
yes.
still there? In
Yes,
America, nobody
still there.
bothers
Yes.
what age you are.
Yes.
There is not much age for marriage here. But yeah, so that's like, okay, that's good that there's that they're taking care. But the fundamental problem is that the training is not there to enter a family life. Are you going to become a Graha Medhi or are you going to enter a Grahast ashram? Do you know the meaning of these two words? Grahamedi and Grahasta. Do you know the meaning of these two words? What is the difference or meaning of these two words? Grahasta and Grahamedi.
Grihastha Mataji is leading family life with spiritual practice.
Okay.
And Grahamedi is sense gratification.
Very nice. Yes, thank you. See, so basically, we are not getting trained for Grahastha Ashram. We are trained, or we are training in turn to become a Grahamedi. There's a fundamental defect in modern education and modern way of working. And the defect is that the modern way of working, the work culture, teaches us how to work. It teaches us how to operate the machine, how to type, what to do, right? But it doesn't teach us how to think. Interestingly, the thinking process is given to the machine, right? The machine will think. If I have done a grammatical mistake, the computer will tell me that this is a grammatical mistake. Or if, let's say, the engine light goes off in the car, and the car will tell that which is the problem in the car. Yes, you have that. The machine is made to think, but people are
Yes.
made to work.
Yes, Mataji.
Interesting, very interesting. When I heard this from a single devotee, I was like, very interesting. So, but it should be opposite. Or what is it? So simple living, high thinking. Right? This is a philosophy for Vedic culture. Simple living, high thinking. So simple living, high thinking sounds very nice, sounds very attractive. But actually what is happening nowadays is simply living and no thinking. Simply living, going somewhere, which is a sorry position. Anyhow, the Shastras are saying that even if a person is born in a human body, and even if a person is born in a human body in the lowest human level, which is the family of a Chandalas, family of a Chandal family means dog eater, the one who eats dog, that family. Prabhupada gives example of such families. He said he did not believe that there are some families which are Chandalas, but he said, when I'm traveling, I'm seeing such family, like in Philippines, South Korea, China. There are people who eat, even Vietnam, he says, dog. He eat dog. So that's Chandalas. So even that person is very glorious, very, very glorious if he chants the holy name of the Lord. Okay, so because if somebody is chanting the holy name of the Lord, Krishna, just this much, Krishna, just this much, that means that person has actually undergone a lot of austerities in their previous life, right? For it is to be understood that by such chanting, a devotee definitely proves that he underwent all kinds of austerities in his previous life. Sounds very simple. How difficult it is to say Krishna. Can you please say Krishna? Like just say Krishna.
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 How difficult is it to say Krishna? Is it difficult?
Not
No,
at all,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Not- but actually, the Shastras are saying that if somebody is chanting Krishna or Hare Krishna, that means that person has actually gone through a lot of austerities in their previous lives. Interesting. That is why it is so simple. So it's so interesting. It is like so difficult for people to just say Krishna. Can't say. But because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what these devotees, prachetas, were doing for 10,000 years, and the result that they were getting by worshipping, doing severe austerities at the bottom of ocean for 10,000 long years, the person born in this Kali Yuga can get it in this life. Maybe 10 years, I don't know how many, but it depends on what, in this life. So the result and the activity is so condensed. It's like summarized, It's like a zip folder in a file. In a zip folder, there's so many documents that you can just zip up and send it. Yeah, do you know what's a zip folder? Everyone knows, right?
Yes, Mataji.
So you can zip up all documents and just send it. So like that, all the austerities and all the penances are condensed and made into a zip folder and given to us in this age in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everything. So same result that was obtained by such severe austerities at that time can be attained by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But the problem is we don't have a taste. We don't have a taste, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised that in such Shashtakam prayers, that we don't have a taste for chanting Hare Krishna, even though the name of Krishna is invested with all these potencies. So that is not good, because Prabhupada is writing, in this age of Kali, if a person does not take advantage of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, which is offered as a great concession to the fallen human being of this age, it is to be understood that he is very much bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord. That person has gone mad. You know, a mad person, if you tell the mad person that what you're doing is not right, please let me take care of you. You know, if the person has fallen on the side of the road and you recognize this person, say, oh, I know who you are. Let me take you to your house. And then mad person says, no, I'm very good here. Please go away. This is completely under the influence of the intoxicants. So somebody is not chanting Hare Krishna, at least recognize, okay? At least accept. At least don't pretend that I am such a big devotee, but I have no taste for chanting. So accept in front of the Lord, accept in front of the acharyas. I have no taste. There is no taste. I want to have taste. I'm praying for a taste. At the present moment, there is no taste. On the contrary, I find it as a tedious job. I like hearing Bhagavatam, but I don't like chanting Hare Krishna. Say it, and then magic will happen. Okay. And this particular verse is so nice. When sons of Prachina Barhi left the home, and they met Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva gave them instructions, and all the 10 brothers, what were they doing with the instruction? Dhyayantaha, they were meditating. And then Japantaha, they were chanting the instructions. And then Pujyantaha, Pujyantaha, worshipping. Let Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, Chittete Kuriya Akhya, Arohina Karumane Asha. So Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. The words emanating from the mouth of my Guru are my life and soul. I like lotus, life and soul. Chittita Kuriya Akhya. My consciousness is purified by those words. Aruna Kori Humane Asha. I have no other desire than just following the words emanating from the lotus-like mouth of my spiritual master. Okay. So if somebody has a spiritual master, and that doesn't mean only Diksha Guru, that this rule is not restricted or limited to somebody who has taken official initiation. Initiation is just an official process. I'm not saying it is not important, but don't give it overrated importance as well by saying, okay, this person is initiated, so this person is high up, and I'm not initiated, so I have no standing. There's no. I heard one lecture in which says, GBC, ABC, or a sannyasi, doesn't matter. What Krishna looks for is love. It matters because it leaves a sanskar or impression in the heart. Okay, there's a connection established. It matters because our material karmic burdens are minimized. But how much is the value in terms of developing devotional service? If it is done properly, if the vows are followed properly, the value is enormous. But person who is initiated, is that person like a higher caste than the person who is not initiated? No. The only reason we will accept that person higher than everyone else who is not initiated is if we actually accept that to be true. There is no other reason. Okay, if I accept it that, oh, this person is very very much high up because this person has taken initiation and I am so down there. It's fine. One person can cultivate the quality of humility and humbleness, but don't overrate it. No, don't like say, okay, I am initiated, now I can sleep. No. Okay, it's important. I'm not saying it's not important. but there is no caste system. A person who, a devotee who is not initiated Krishna is not going to look at that person. It's not. Okay, there are details in this. I can give examples. There's detail. Our parampara is mostly Siksha parampara, right? For example, the guru of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, the one that we worship on the altar is Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj did not give Diksha to Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj is a Siksha Guru of Bhakti Vinod Thakur Prabhupada. Because the initiation doesn't only mean that, okay, you have to have a formal Diksha. Yeah, that's fine. But even a Siksha Guru, if somebody has accepted that person as Siksha Guru, then that instruction is also very important. And one can have more than Siksha Gurus. Like if I say, for my example, if I accept the instruction of Namanishta Prabhu as my life and soul, and I like make adjustments in my life to follow what Prabhu is telling me, that's my instruction from my Siksha Guru. That's my life and soul. And as long as I do that, I am fine. Yeah, then I become perfect. Because Prabhupada is saying this is the secret of success. And as long as I don't do it, this just this is just like, you know, putting one more feather on your cap, but it doesn't really serve a purpose. Okay, so in these verses we are understanding that I was trying to emphasize that difference between grahastha and grahamedi, and very well aware of the meaning of the word sanskar, and also be aware that the prachetas, the 10 sons of Prachina Barahi, were instructed by their father to get married and have children, but they chose to do austerity first to purify themselves so that they can be of proper service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead when they do the Vivaha Sanskar. In the same way, what they were doing for 10,000 years, a person in Kali Yuga can do it because it's very condensed. The process is condensed and given to us in the name of holy name of Krishna. Okay, and then the instructions of spiritual master, these instructions were given to them about the austerities by Lord Shiva, and these instructions, they took it as their heart and soul. Okay, they meditated on the instructions, they were chanting the instructions, and they were also worshipping them with great care and attention. Mane following them. It's not that they were just like sitting on it. Okay, any questions? From tomorrow we'll start about the
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, how Shiva came into scene here?
Prabhu? Senior
How-
what?
How Lord Shiva initiated and how he appeared and instructed this because these people were not doing penance for Shiva, no?
Yeah, so that's one of the questions. That's a verse 16 and 17. In verse 17, Vidur is going to ask exactly the same question that you're saying. How did they get the rare darshan of Lord Shiva? Because Lord Shiva really doesn't give his darshan. See, this is his question. The great sage Vidur continued, "O best of Brahmanas, it is very difficult for the living entities encaged within this material body to have personal contact with Lord Shiva. Even great sages who have no material attachments do not contact him, despite their always being absorbed in meditation to attain his personal contact." So how did these devotees get it? Okay, so this is one of the questions. Let me go back to 16th verse. Please tell me how the meeting happened, how Lord Shiva became very pleased with them, and how he instructed them. Okay, so we are going to study. Why did the Prachetas meet Lord Shiva on the way? How did they meet? And what was the instruction? So these questions are coming. I'm not going to answer them today.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so wait till tomorrow. Any questions, reflections, realizations from today's corrections from today's verse? Nobody? Nobody? Let me check the chat. Krishna. Am I audible? Because it really becomes suspicious if I'm audible.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Who is Who is the Diksha Guru of Bhakti Vinod Thakur Mataji?
I don't remember his name, Mataji. I was hoping no one will ask.
Okay.
I don't remember. I'll go back and study and come back. It's not sticking in my head right now. Okay. There are some questions. Yes, Dr. Saxena?
Mataji, in IDC, we were taught in Hari Bhakti Vilas, it is mentioned that unless one is initiated, all his devotional activities are useless. Adhikshitya. Unless one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, all his devotional activities are useless. A person who is not properly initiated can descend again into the animal species. This is quoted from Hari Bhakti Vilas 2.6.
Right, but you have to read the
Mataji.
the whole
Please.
context. Okay. If I'm not saying that the initiation is not important, like the formal initiation, mane having the ceremony, having the first initiation, the second initiation. I'm not minimizing the importance. Okay, don't think that this is something which one can live without. But what I'm trying to say is that when we are talking about that Lord Shiva gave instructions to the Prachetas, and they were meditating, they were chanting, and they were worshipping the instructions that were given to them, then those instructions at that time, we don't hear that there was a formal ceremony and then there was this initiation thing. So it was more like a siksha. So I'm trying to say that the Diksha Guru is important. It's not an alternative. It's not something which we can bypass. But the instructions of a genuine Siksha Guru are also equally important. And this is what I was trying to say.
Yes.
Okay. It's definite because the connection, if somebody is so dedicated, why wouldn't they take initiation? That's the question.
Yes, that is
Also,
true.
like, what is the blocker in going ahead and formalizing the procedure? You know, it's like a live-in relationship in a marriage, right? What's the live-in relationship? Two people are living together and living like a couple, a married couple. Well, if you're so much like living like a married couple, why don't you formalize it? Because it has more respect, right? It has more value. There is more impression. There is more like purity in that relationship. Why to stay like that? So it's like that. If somebody likes it so much, somebody likes to follow the process so much, what's the problem in taking initiation?
But,
Is that, am I making sense?
yeah, no, perfectly,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes,
The
Mataji.
issue, the sentence used is unless one is initiated, all his devotional activities are useless. That means if one is not initiated and he is doing devotional service or doing practicing activities related to devotion, are they useless? Are they not leading us to the right
And
direction?
I'll give you an example. I have to read the whole context of that particular chapter of Hari Bhakti Vilas by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. We are just given a snipping shot of what's there.
Yes.
Because if that was true, then Prabhupada would not have said that George Harrison is my uninitiated disciple. You know George Harrison, right?
I know.
He gave
Yes.
so much. He
Yes,
never
yes.
took formal initiation. I'll give you more examples. We have to read the whole thing. This is, I don't personally agree with what is written there because it's only a snipping shot of that particular thing.
It's a part of the
I
story.
don't know. So, you know, the 6 Goswamis, we worship them, right?
Yes,
We worship them.
Yes.
And we call them Goswamis, but they never took formal sannyas initiation. They worship, they're dressed in white, right? They're not dressed in saffron. They're more like Babajis. So are those instructions not our life and soul?
Yeah, they are.
So they are actually life and soul. Even Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada, Jiva Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, but they never took sannyas initiation. They were Babajis. What made them not to take? Because they felt themselves completely downfallen to even accept that process. So Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any particular thing of this material world. It's not dependent. That means we are making Krishna consciousness dependent on the process of initiation. Again, I'm not minimizing the importance, but there's a difference between the importance and there's a difference between the dependence, exclusively dependence, right? For example, let's say that if I have to choose between drinking milk every day and drinking water every day, both are important, but is my sustenance more dependent on water or milk? What is it more dependent on if I have to choose?
Water.
Dr. Saxena, what do you say?
Water is essential. Without water,
It's not that we don't need milk. We do need milk, right?
But-
It's important, but it's not exclusively dependent.
Yes.
If we say that, then we are actually counter arguing the free independence of the element of bhakti. Bhakti Devi is not dependent on anything. Okay, it's very intricate topic, which I think they must edit because it's not correct to write. Srila Prabhupada quotes in his Nectar of Devotion lectures and explains the process of initiation. I'm forgetting the words, but he says that if somebody is taking a process of initiation, there are two ways of initiation. I have hazy memory right now, but he explained one process of initiation is to be given only to the people who are born in the family of devotees, and they themselves go through the process of sanskara, the purification, then they can be given. But according to Rupa Goswami, this process of initiation that we do in our parampara can be given to anyone, regardless of their background. Anyone can become a devotee of Krishna. Whatever, they may be Chandal, and they can become a topmost devotee of Krishna. Is it clear? It's important, but it's not exclusive.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's clear. Because when we were going through IDC course, this sentence was so hurting, in fact, that
Yes.
whatever we are doing, is it really useless? So that was, we had a discussion in our group also, Mataji, on this issue. All the activities done before initiation, are they not leading us to right direction, or are they useless? That was very, very, in fact, embracing it to all the excess on waste, that means.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize that you feel that way.
No,
And I'm very
not
sorry
that-
that it is even there in the
No,
IDC
not you,
manual,
Mataji,
because
not you, Mataji, but it is written in IDC book. Page number 13, it is mentioned, Harivilas 2.65, 2.6 only.
I think I have Harivilas book in my
Yeah,
my
please.
hard drive. I'll check. And then we can check. I can open, but then I have to read the whole thing. They're only giving one
Yeah,
portion.
yeah.
You know how
Yes,
journalists or the TV media people, how they cut and snip,
Yes.
right?
Their
And then they
interpretation
only
is-
present
Yeah,
what they
sure.
want to present. Kuch aisa sa hai. I'm not criticizing it. Maybe it is important to emphasize, but it is a responsibility of the teacher who is teaching that
How to
particular
understand
chapter to explain it in a pure manner, the most pure manner.
the context also, complete context.
Yeah, it is not correct. It's not correct. It was never correct, and it will never be correct. In our movement also, it is not correct. George Harrison is an example. There's so many examples. If you come to America, because that's one, you're coming, right? This one perk of living in America and being with ISKCON is that you get like such a broader view of what International Society for Krishna Consciousness is about. There are so many devotees who are in the ashram, who live in the ashram, and they are not initiated. They're bhakta, what is the name of that girl in Gita Nagari? Keli, Bhaktin Keli. And in UK, I know some young children. There's like Bhakta John, but they are leading Pandav Sena. This Keli is leading the service of some department in the dham. So that means her service has no value. That means her dedication is no value because she's not initiated.
So that is why it gives so much of thought process activated. How is it possible? Krishna is so supreme. He accepts even the most fallen souls also. So how we are also one of those. But whatever we are doing, probably Krishna shall accept it. This is the faith with which we are working.
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, that's why I said don't over glorify. It is very important to take initiation because we do have a transformation of consciousness. It's an experience, cannot be explained. But if we have an initiated disciple and a non-initiated initiated devotee and a non-initiated devotee, we cannot say that who is higher than who. We cannot just say by this process.
Furthermore, in this IDC book, it is mentioned, Mataji, that the real process of transcendence begins after initiations only. That means we might be committing mistakes earlier while doing devotional services or activities, but after initiation, the real process of transcendence begins. So that means we get further purified and strengthened or well seated in our devotion after initiation. That is mentioned also.
It's like Prabhu, I always compare this instruction to this example in my head with us live-in relationship versus a marriage.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is perfect example, Mataji.
You see, if there's so much dedication, what's the blocker?
Yes.
What's the blocker to take this process of initiation? It's not that we are short in gurus. It's not that we are short in our dedication, or it's not that we are short in services, or it's not that Prabhupada has not given us the highest philosophy. So where is the blocker? Generally, the blocker is in one's own fear. It's fear of something. What if I'm cheated? What if this guru is not what I was looking for? What if this is all fake? There's these questions. Then we have to answer them.
Sure.
Okay. Initiation invites the mercy of the parampara. That I can say. When you're sitting in front of the fire, in front of the deities, in front of the spiritual master, in front of the Vaishnavas, and there's the spiritual master, you have to choose such a spiritual master, has a potency to attract the mercy of the parampara, the whole parampara. So you get the whole parampara, and there's a lot of strength being given to that particular soul. If that soul, like if my consciousness is properly situated at the time of initiation, free from doubts, and there's a lot of gratitude in the heart, then yes, we do feel and get a lot of mercy from the whole parampara. We could actually feel the presence of Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. We can feel Bhakti Vinod Thakur. They all are giving a lot of mercy because now we are ready for it. It's not that mercy is not available to a non-initiated person, but this initiation process makes us ready. It opens up more. Okay?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Krishna. Okay,